What are the consequences if they don't actually add a fourth stimulus check into the stimulus package? And if they don't start working on some type of permanent raises to monthly benefits like Social Security, retirement, disability, SSDI, survivors, SSI, VA, and RRB benefits sometime relatively soon? These are really good questions, which is exactly what we're going to talk about and cover in this video, so let's get into it right away. But before we do, if you haven't done so, or if you happen to be new here, welcome to the channel, and please make sure to hit the subscribe button right down below the video, as I am your daily advocate and your daily voice as I come back each and every day to keep you updated with all of this information that's going on right now regarding stimulus checks, Social Security, SSDI, SSI, VA, rental assistance, utility assistance, and all of these other stimulus programs and or benefits that anybody in this community can take advantage of during this very difficult time. So thank you so much for your support, and we keep doing anything we possibly can to get through the Congress to continue to remind them that low-income and fixed-income beneficiaries need additional support during this time. Whether it's through stimulus checks, permanent raises, or whatever it happens to be, we just know that these individuals are the ones who are being pinched the most right now with everything going on, so we continue to work on your behalf and do anything we possibly can to help out in any way. So thank you so much for your support. I really do appreciate it. Let's talk through this. So this is actually a really good question. What are the actual consequences if a fourth stimulus check is not added into this next stimulus package, or if they don't start working on a permanent solution to raise benefits to at least 100% of the poverty line? What's going to happen? Is it just going to be like, okay, well, thanks, have a nice day, and see you later? Or is it going to be a little bit more extreme than that? It's a really good question. That's what we have to say is all eyes turn to Democrats. Now, this is not me taking sides, but rather I say Democrats simply because they have full control of everything right now. The House of Representatives, the Senate, and the presidency. So it is literally all up to the Democrats to determine when they will actually do all of this. Whether they will actually add a fourth stimulus check into the package, and or when they want to start discussing reforming these programs like Social Security, SSDI, SSI, VA, and then ultimately raising benefits. So yeah, it's kind of the entire ball is in the court of Democrats right now. So again, I'm not taking sides. I'm just a realist when it comes to all this stuff as we look forward, kind of looking at the situation, looking like, well, who's got the ball, right? Hey, yo, who's got the ball? Pass it here. You know what I mean? So anyway, first off, let's talk about what is very, very important that is actually coming up sooner than later. It's still out in the future, but it is the midterm elections next year. Now, I get it. It's still a long time away. It's more than a year away from now. But here's the thing. Democrats are certainly watching that going forward. In fact, right now, this is the first time that they've had full control of everything in actually quite a few years. So it would be to their advantage to take advantage of this time that they have right now to get through all of these packages or anything that they could ever want to get done right now through budget reconciliation. Because here's the thing. If they happen to lose any seats, just a single seat in the Senate, they've lost control of the Senate. If they happen to lose just a handful of seats in the House of Representatives, they have then lost the House. If that's the case, no more budget reconciliation. It's not an option anymore. You know what I mean? So then they would have to start doing it through bipartisan packages. Well, at that point, kind of all their initiatives and everything that they want to get done, probably not going to happen. So here's the thing. Their window to get basically anything that they could ever want done, or anything that their hearts desire to get done, they would have to do it relatively soon before the midterm elections actually take place. Well, I mean, technically not before the elections take place, but that would certainly help them during the elections, because what are people going to remember when it comes time to vote, right? Are they going to think about, hey, we just got some more stimulus checks, we're excited, and we're going to vote kind of thing? Or is it going to be like, well, hey, I've been struggling for a year and a half now, and we've been asking, begging, pleading, doing everything we possibly can to get more relief, and we haven't really gotten it. You know what I mean? So it's kind of a critical time that we're in right now as far as this window pre-midterm elections. And trust me, they recognize this. They are very aware of what is going on next year. So maybe, just maybe, they are purposely dragging out this $3.5 trillion package a little bit further, or closer to the end of the year, just so that it's maybe a little bit closer to the midterm elections. You just never know. I mean, politics, it's kind of a game. The whole thing's just kind of a big old game, realistically, at the end of the day. So that's one thing going forward, as far as that they certainly have on their radar, that they will certainly need to continue looking at very closely into the future here going forward. So next, what else would be kind of one of the big consequences if they don't actually add a fourth stimulus check? Well, I think there'd be a ton of people, in fact, coming out saying, I guess I'm a little bit confused right now. We have a massive $3.5 trillion package. It has all these programs in it, but yet we're not containing direct payments to the people? I guess I'm a little bit confused. Get what I'm saying? So not only me, but I think there's going to be a lot of people out there right now who are saying, there's actually a lot of people out there who are struggling during this time, and another direct payment focused on lower income people is very much needed during this time. So if they get to the point where they're, getting ready to pass this thing and there's not something in there, you better believe there's going to be a lot of people out there pushing for this, and there's going to be a lot of outcry. And all it takes, remember, all it really takes is one senator, literally one senator, that's it, to come up and say, you know what? I'm not voting for this unless we get a fourth stimulus check or direct payments or economic impact payments. That it's all the same. It's all the same thing, different names for the same thing. But that's just kind of what they said, and that's exactly what happened with the second stimulus check. Remember that? Bernie Sanders and Josh Hawley basically came out and said, "Hey, we're not moving forward until we get a stimulus check, a direct payment to the people," and ultimately they got it. So, yeah, that's exactly, what could exactly happen with this next package as well. We could be right down to the wire, which is kind of what I anticipate happening. We're going to be right down to the wire the last few days, and then ultimately, out of nowhere, someone is going to come up and say, we need to have direct payments. There are still millions of people who are struggling. And then who looks like a hero going into the midterm elections, right? Everybody looks really good. The Democratic Party looks good. The person who came out and called on those stimulus checks, hey, that person is rocking and rolling, right? They're looking pretty good because they're the one who called out, and now people are happy. People are excited. They're getting the relief that they need going forward, right? Now, let's look at one more thing. Permanent raises to benefits, like what I mentioned earlier. Now, here's the thing. Will they likely have it done this year? Who knows? Honestly, we don't know about that right now. All we know right now is that they're focused on these two packages. But here's what we do know. There is the option to reform these packages or these programs like Social Security, SSI, SSDI, all of this to raise benefits. In fact, they are trying to do that right now with the SSI Reform Act. In fact, I've talked about that a few times here over the last, couple months here now. But here's the thing. They could just so happen to start working on all of this reform to these programs to ultimately raise benefits and or make the programs a little bit more solvent for many more years to come. Again, if they just so happen to do that, how would it look going into the midterm elections? Would people go into the elections thinking, we're upset, nothing happened over the last, a couple years here? Or would they go into the elections, 80 plus million Social Security, SSDI survivors, SSI, and VA beneficiaries go into the midterm elections saying, hey, we might not have a permanent raise quite yet, but they're certainly working on it and they're getting really close. Or maybe by then, it's not a year and a half, but a little over a year from now, we look at it and say, hey, we got a permanent raise. We're pretty excited. They finally came to the rescue, the hero that saved the day. We're excited. We're happy. We're going to go vote and kind of do our thing, So they have a lot on the line right now that they have coming forward as far as this midterm election. And that's the thing. It would only take a few flops of seats, and all of a sudden, the control that they have right now could potentially be completely gone. So they recognize this. So that's why they're trying to do all these big packages right now and get everything done that they want to during this time, because they know that worst case scenario, if they lose some control, then that's it. That is over until they get it back at some point in the future. Who knows when that could possibly be, right? So anyway, in their best interest going forward into next year and the rest of this year, for the amount of money it would really cost to add a fourth stimulus check into the package, a couple $100 billion, it would be to their best interest, without a question of a doubt, to add a fourth stimulus check in there. Seriously, without any question, they should add a stimulus check in there, because that could really make or break next year when it comes to the midterm elections. And ultimately, let's just be real. let's just be real. Seriously, who cares about the election? Let's just get the relief to the people who actually need it. That's all it's about right now. But unfortunately, a lot of times it has to be this big old game with them. But realistically, people are hurting. People are struggling. People are starving. People are having a hard time right now. That's not fun. We shouldn't turn that into a big game. This should not be a big game when people are hurting right now. That's not a cool situation. Ultimately, the relief should go to the people who need it, right? Low income, fixed income beneficiaries, everybody like that. Ultimately, get them the relief they need. Seriously, just like, who cares? Just spend the money, get it done and over with. Just get the people what they need, right? I feel like all of us in this community could probably agree with that. Let's just get it done already. Enough of this horsing around, as my dad would say. Quit horsing around. You know what I mean? Did your parents say that to you when you were a kid? But anyway, that means like settle down, otherwise you're going to break something. Yeah. So, I won't go there. Never mind. I was going to say we broke plenty of things as a kid, but yeah. Anyway, glad I grew out of that eventually. It took a while, but I did. Anyway, thanks everyone. I really appreciate it. I hope this kind of lays it out that really, I mean, I've talked about it in previous videos. Honestly, I feel like they're painting themselves into a really tight corner on all of this, and it would really be to their best interest to add a fourth stimulus check into the package for so many reasons. Literally, the reasons keep going on and on. The list gets longer and longer, almost on a daily basis, for all the reasons why a fourth stimulus check should be in there, especially for the amount of money it's going to cost to do it. Not that much, $200 billion. You know, when you look at it against a couple $1 trillion package, it's not that much money, right? Anyway, hope this helps you out. I am always here for you to keep you updated with everything going on, to answer your questions, like what we're talking about in this video, as well as some others, and just do whatever I possibly can to be here for you each and every day, to walk you through this and just help you out. You know what I mean? So, thanks again for your support. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Share this one with your friends, family, social media. Go back and check out any of the other nearly 1,400 videos right here on the channel, and I will continue to work on your behalf every single day to do whatever we possibly can. Thanks, everyone. I appreciate you, and I'll see you again in the next video. We'll see you later.